get here at 6:30, but where I live, a lot of people, I guess, are traveling back to wherever the fuck they came from for Labor Day weekend.
Probably.
Don't
Yeah.
know where how to drive. One
Yeah.
car accident made what should have been like a 2 minute drive back to my house into to where I was going into a 15-minute drive, and then another 15-minute drive trying to get around all the fucking traffic.
Yeah. Don't you hate that? God dang.
Yeah, yeah. Like everyone's like, oh, why do you want a metro where you live? So that people will have an incentive to not fucking drive around here and take the fucking metro.
I mean, the problem with just the way I don't even think it's just the land of the country, the landmass of the country. It's just people are really in the cars, but it's like most people just probably shouldn't drive.
Well, I mean, that's a part of it, but you need an alternate way. Because the thing is this, okay? Statistically, most of the people who are driving are going to a few key places. Therefore, this is where having mass transit is an important thing that's convenient and subsidized. Is that most people, like I said, are going to key areas where people are going to go, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Right? Like most people are going to the mall. Most people are going to the movie theater. Most people are going like places where people tend to congregate. So make it easy for people to get there without having to get into a fucking car. That's it.
Yeah.
Then for
Yeah.
people who have to go places where, hey, I live close by to where I'm within the radius of mass transit, but it's not convenient for me to like drive over to the bus stop or to the metro station to go literally a mile down the road. I can drive there without there being an accident or a lot of fucking crazy shit or the traffic being insane. Nah,
Yeah.
nah, 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 nah. Fuck that. Sorry, complaining about traffic. That's such a that's such a suburban middle class thing. Unless you live in a city where everything is constantly like you can live in a city and never have to get in a car if you don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in any case, we are live with
Yay.
another episode of Project Console. We're very late, but things came up, but we were able to figure it out. But in any case, the name of this episode is Great is Good. And before we get into our topics, you'd like to introduce yourself and I could dive
Yeah,
right in.
this is Mr. Red Fox on proprietor BS Busters. Um, September will be a busy month for me, so that's going to be fun. But you know, it is what it is. Let's do it.
All right. Well, top of the news, Starfield is out. I know you got early access of it. What are your
I
thoughts on
did.
it? What are your initial thoughts?
Um, this game is a step back in terms of the hand holding and all powerful shit that Bethesda had in Skyrim and Fallout 4. Like I'm hearing people complain about this game. Like it does, like uh, the systems are obtuse and they don't tell you, and the tutorial isn't clear. And if you haven't played, like if you are someone who is under 30 and the games you played kind of had those hand-holdy tutorials from back in the day,
Yeah, yeah,
then it's going to be hard for you to get into those hand-holdy tutorials that have become the norm for a lot of games. But if you're like me, who like played games way back in the day, where the tutorials were very light and you had to like figure shit out, I'm enjoying it. Like I finally got to my first major planet with like a city and all that type of shit. And like I've been reading reviews, people are like, "Well, the map sucks." I'm like, "Yeah, but like there's directions in the city of how to get around." like like you can literally go up to a kiosk and look up a map like you're in a mall. It's like, how do I get here? Oh, there's the map. Okay, I'm here. I need to. Okay, cool. Like I don't understand why people are like, oh, it's so different. I'm like, do you not know how to read a map?
is it like Baldur's Gate where it kind of makes the map for you, or do you have to rely on the kiosk?
No, no, you've been to a mall, right?
Yeah,
You know, when you go to a mall, like maybe someone in your family's like, okay, we're going, like, go to this store in the mall and pick something up. And you're like, shit, I've never been to that store. I don't really go to this mall very often. But you go to the kiosk and you look at the map, and you're like, okay, all right, okay, I'm looking for this store. It's in neighborhood 7. I'm in neighborhood 2, so this will be a nice walk, but whatever. Shit, I got time to kill. And you look at the map, you see where you are, you see where you have to go, and then you plan out your trip. That's
yeah.
basically what it is. It's not like they treat the map like you're in the real world, how you would basically have to, like, you're not going to pull out your Google phone and be like, oh, let me see exactly how to get there. You're going to be like, oh wait, I have to follow context clues and the signs. Like,
Oh,
there's
that's
a
cool.
there's a there's a little side quest you get when you first get the New Atlantis, where they're like, this lady's like, yeah, you got to go to the viewport. I'm like, the viewport? I'm like, where the fuck is that? Let me check. Oh wait. And then I look around and I'm like, oh, the viewport, it's a store. Like, okay, and I just walk over there. Like, people are just like, I think a lot of people are so used to the basic bitch shit that Bethesda was doing with Skyrim and Fallout 4 that Bethesda going back to like their older way of making games, like Oblivion,
Yeah,
throws them for a loop.
yeah,
It's like, think of it like this: like, I am an old school Legend of Zelda fan. I don't like the new Legend of Zelda games, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But imagine how if you were someone who only played, like, the first Legend of Zelda games you played were Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that when they inevitably go back to their old formula, how those people are going to feel.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that makes
It's
sense.
like,
But
oh, you mean I can't just do whatever the fuck I want? I actually have to follow an order in order to get shit? There's real dungeons? I can't just do whatever the fuck I want? There's an actual proper way to solve this puzzle? I don't get a cajillion weapons that break after 2 or 3 hits? I actually have to know how to use the weapon that I have? Oh, how dare you, sir? You know, it's like, I do think there are some legit arguments to be made, but I also think some of it is just people just not really wanting to uh I think some of it is just people not wanting to put the like they want their hands held a little bit too much, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like, I enjoy the immersive storytelling. I enjoy going in and exploring and looking up stuff that's happening, and I accidentally ran into a guy. Like, I was doing a side quest in the game, and I ran into a guy who he ripped this guy off for a murder butt. Like, he wouldn't pay the guy his money. He gave him like fake money and then ran away. Like, haha, and what are you gonna do? And his name was Toff. He's like, you just got toffed. and the guy's like, give me my money or we're gonna have a problem. The guy's like, no, 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 man, you're gonna get toffed. And he's like, you do realize that I can remotely activate the kill switch on that where it'll just murder your ass. And he's like, yeah, you got toughed. And the guy actually does it. So you go into the guy's apartment and his killer, and he's like, his corpse is on the ground where the robot killed his ass. And then it
uh,
attacks you. And I'm like,
uh,
and you read on the screen where the guy's talking shit about how I'm like, the joke's on you, dude, because that robot killed your ass. Um, it's like little small shit like that. And that's just the beginning of the game.
yeah.
Like, I'm not even that far into it. I haven't gotten that deep into it yet. But I'm just saying, like, people,
I
like
know, I
like
know
I said,
people.
I no, sorry, go ahead.
I know people are bitching about the fact that there's too many loading screens and you can't just fly to planet you can't fly to planet like you can in No Man's Sky. But
Yeah, but No Man's Sky is creating the entire world, whereas
this is already
this is, yeah, each
predetermined
planet is a
planets.
new instance. Yeah,
Yeah,
every time you jump to a new system, that's a new planet's being created. This game is a different beast entirely. It's like basically there's a few there like you go to a world and there's a few handcrafted locations if the world is populated or has something in there, and then it's procedurally generating new shit on the fly from from assets that are in the game. If you're expecting Bethesda to put that type of time and energy into a game, first of all, Bethesda doesn't have the resources. Second of all, Bethesda isn't that type of studio. They're not doing it.
Yeah. Plus, they've been hunkering down with that engine for years, so they're not gonna.
Yeah.
They're not. They would probably have to create a whole new engine to do something like that.
Well, they would have had to overhaul the engine they have right now, and like right now that Microsoft owns Bethesda, they could probably do it. Like maybe have if they have 250 employees or 350 employees, maybe have two-thirds of them working on new content for this game, and the others like actually just overhauling the engine along with uh, engineers from Bethesda.
Yeah.
I mean, from Microsoft, but like years ago, no, no,
And
no.
also, it's like I found it funny because somebody was like, people were hoping that this game would be like Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous, and No Man's Sky when it came to trial. And I was thinking, why the heck is Star Citizen even in that conversation? That game's not even
Yeah.
out yet.
Well,
That
it's
game is
more
still in
like
development.
Elite Dangerous Light.
Yeah,
That's the best way I could. It's like if you don't have the energy, because Elite Dangerous. The problem with Elite Dangerous is that Elite Dangerous is very grindy in the beginning of the game, and until you get out of the tutorial system and you start getting your character build down, it's kind of like hard. It's hard to get past that initial boost.
it's also based
Um,
on it's also based on theoretical physics of flying in space, which I don't know if
no, there's FTL in that game. There's
I,
FTL in both games.
I know it's faster than light travel, but I'm just talking about how that ship can control because it's very easy to land your ship wrong, or
You mean in
to
Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous?
elite dangerous.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of assuaged by the fact that piloting is a skill, and the better you get at it, the better you like Elite Dangerous. If you really want to understand Elite Dangerous, imagine GTA San Andreas,
Yeah,
where like initially when you drove vehicles in GTA San Andreas, you sucked at it because your skill level was low. But as you got better, as your skill level went up, you would be able to drive. Like you got better at driving, and your handling of vehicles got better. So it's
yeah.
the same general principle of Elite Dangerous. In the beginning of the game, yeah, piloting sucks because your skill level sucks. But as you get better at it, it's really not that bad. Like it's like, oh wow, I'm actually better at this.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Now Star Citizen is the one where like even landing your ship, it'll like crash and fly. Sometimes have you seen those bugs where like the dude's ship like flew off without him, like he landed it and he explored the planet and then it just flew off. And like this
Wow.
is real money. Like he had a real money ship, so his own money was like, oh yeah, that money's gone. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
That dude's
these
money
ships
is
can cost,
gone.
and these ships can cost like $5,000 and stuff. It's like
And that's the low end. There are people who've spent like tens of thousands of dollars
I don't
on
know
fake
what
ships.
I don't know how people still believe in this project. Like they've been a lot of feature creep, just everything that
Yeah.
could go wrong with a development project. It's pretty much gone wrong. It's like especially the feature creep. It's like
Well, at a certain point, it's the sunk cost fallacy. If you've already put like $10,000 over 5 years into the game, you're invested.
yeah,
It's like if you own a house, right? And the house is worth $600,000, and you've paid it down to where you only owe $300,000, and it'll be paid off in 6 or 7 years. you're not just gonna say fuck this house after you've already put $300,000 into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean that's why, and also the idea of Star Citizen is really cool. It's just the execution is kind of trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like so many things, it's in the execution
I love
where
how they were making,
things. You
you know, because No Man's Sky was kind of getting shat on it. It was funny because of one of the videos I saw, Star Citizen, they were kind of shitting on No Man's Sky. It's like, your game's not even out yet. Like,
Yeah.
they've released the product. What are you guys doing?
Well, I mean, I was talking with someone who's like, yeah, I put money into Star Citizen, and I'm like, isn't that game still in beta though? I don't think because like alpha release is beta is where it's still basically features are still being tested and smoothed out and shit. And so that game isn't even in it's not even in beta. It's not even out of beta.
Yeah, it's sad.
Whereas No Man's
Sad.
Sky, if you have a playthrough of No Man's Sky where you've gone really far into it, actually that game is from people that I've seen and live playthroughs of it. There's some really cool shit in No Man's Sky right now.
Yeah, I've heard it's gotten a lot better, and they put a lot of a lot more work into it. It still never really goes. I'm still waiting for a deeper sale because it never. The game for whatever reason they don't want to drop it.
Well, there's a lot of shit. I mean, I'm not gonna like. I've played No Man's Sky. It doesn't really do anything for me, but there's some cool shit in there. And if I was willing to put the 30 or 40 hours to do the first playthrough, where you like do a warp and go to a new seeded galaxy, which is how you get the game really starts to open up at that point, I would totally do that. But the problem is, I don't have that type of willpower to play through a game just so that I can get to the good shit. You know.
Yeah, it's like 30 hours to get to then the game really opens up. It's like, come on, really? We're doing
Look,
this?
man, for the people who it scratches that itch, it's worth it. For me, I'm like, that's not going to do shit for me. But look, man, everyone has their own proclivities when it comes to gaming, and I mean, everyone has their thing that does it for them. So what might necessarily be like, oh my god, this game is the shit. Like, I'm enjoying Starfield. Not everyone will enjoy that. There's gonna be people who are gonna be like, look, this game is shit. And if they can articulate their argument in a way where I can say, wow, you make a valid point, or I might disagree with you, but that's how you feel. Then I might be like, oh, okay, sure, I can understand where you're coming from. But if it's just some nitpicky bullshit, then I'm gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's
There's a lot of times where it's just some nitpicky bullshit
yeah, yeah.
with people complaining about games. Like, oh, this game doesn't do this. Like, well, what the fuck did you want? Like, people are like, well, I wanted to be able to travel an entire planet. You're expecting that from Bethesda.
Yeah.
See, that's you projecting.
And with mods, because the mod scene's already out, you might actually come a point where you might be able to do that, but I mean, it has even support for making entirely new planets. You know, that's how deep the mod stuff is able to go. But Bethesda proper, that's not gonna happen.
No, I mean, you might get some new planets. Like I said, I haven't gotten that far in the main story. I've just been doing side shit. I picked up I picked up 2 jobs on the mission terminal, one where I scan a planet and one where I got to go take out like an outpost of some pirates. So the beginning ship, if you play this game, the beginning ship, the Frontier, kind of sucks. So you might want to you might want to do some side quests to get a better ship. go murder some spacers and start the Mantis side quest. The Mantis is a pretty good ship. It's
Yeah.
so good that if pirates see that ship, they might turn around and run the fuck away because they're like, "Oh shit, that ship's too badass." Bye.
Mm, yeah, but I'm just, I'm probably gonna try it out. Probably download it here, tomorrow or tonight or tomorrow. Um, I
What do
got
the
this.
Game Pass route?
Yeah, I got. I'm eventually just gonna buy it on Steam so I can, once the mod support becomes more lucrative, start seeing what's out there. But
Well, I'll tell you right now, the mod support's already getting there. Cause guess what? They already got a script extender.
a
They
script
already got a
extender.
yeah, the script extender. So basically, yeah, for Bethesda games, you need the script extender because that basically extends the script so you can add bigger, more complex mods.
Hmm. Oh wow.
So, and
Okay.
they already got one out, and the game has not been out officially. Technically, it doesn't come out until tomorrow, but tonight or tomorrow. But I got mine early because I have disposable income, so I was like, "Fuck it," um, and I liked it. Thought it was
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, you got to get past that initial hump. If you can get past the initial hump, you're like, "Oh, this is a really good game."
Yeah. Yeah.
But you got to get past that initial hump, and for some people, that initial hump is not going to do. It's not going to work for them.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, but that's not just a Bethesda thing. That's a lot of games. Like every game is going to have that initial investment. There are very few games you can just pick up. Like I'm pretty sure Mario Wonder is going to be a game where it's like you can just kind of pick up and start playing.
Hmm.
Um, because that's the nature of most Mario games. You can just pick it up and start playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Really the only thing I have to say about this game is Bethesda, your character models still look like shit. But other
Well,
than
here's what I'll say. They do look weird, but compared to what we got in Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 uh, and Skyrim, still some of the best character models they've had in years.
yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, it's not great, but compared to what we used to get, shit, it's a damn masterpiece.
anyway, speaking of well, nah, there's really no way to segue into this. So, Sony's been fucking up again. Um,
Yeah. Oh, you mean what? Is it the price? Is it the price hike of their PS Plus PSN
yeah,
network?
they
Is
were at
it the Wii gamepad they're bringing out?
look, they looked at Spotify, they looked at Netflix, they looked at
They
YouTube,
looked at Nintendo.
they looked at Nintendo and said, you know what, guys, hold my
We can
beer.
raise our prices.
Yeah, look at what we can do. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
And then
But
they
we kind
raised
of
their
knew this was
prices
going to happen.
30%.
Yeah, but we kind of
Yeah,
knew this was going to happen because they raised the prices in every other country. Remember, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they raised the prices of the PlayStation Network in every other country, but they
yeah,
kept it low here.
yeah,
Like you knew they were just testing the water so that they could raise the shit in other places.
yeah, yeah.
That's what that
Now,
shit was about.
now you gotta pay $80 a year for the for the base, and was like $160. They went from like $120 to $160 for like the
Yeah,
premium. It's absolutely absurd what they're doing. Like, a lot of these streaming services are raising their prices. And, it's kind of funny because they made so much money during the pandemic, hand over fist. During during the COVID lockdowns and stuff. Made a
they didn't make
ton
as
of money.
much money as they thought they were going to make.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably true too. Um, and they decide, oh well, looks like we're gonna have to raise our prices. I'm telling you what, um, the stream crash is coming because it's just like this is this is borderline unsustainable, at least in how I see it, with all these different streaming services, with all these different shows scattered out throughout these streaming services. I
Yeah,
know,
you're basically gonna have to pick maybe like three or four, or if you have the money, if you have the disposable income, maybe like five, and then just
yeah,
be like, well, I'm gonna have these five. Like that's what I did. I said, fuck it, I'll go with five. So I've got Netflix. I'm not going to include Amazon Prime because if you have Amazon Prime, you have Amazon Prime. You have all the other shit that goes with it. So I'm going to throw that to the side. I have Netflix, Hulu with the Disney Plus bundle, uh, Paramount Plus because I like Star Trek, um, Peacock because I got it for a very low price and they had the Twisted Metal shit, which was cool. And what else do I have? Oh, Max. So that's five.
yeah. And
But
then
the
HBO.
amount of money I'm spending for those five services is functionally the same as I would be paying if I had a cable package.
Yeah.
Like
Hulu,
it's the
Hulu.
same. It's the same amount. Like I'm not saving money.
I mean, if you need one, at least in my opinion, I've only tested out two: YouTube TV and Hulu Live. Hulu Live has a lot of stuff. Uh,
I have the Hulu bundle.
yeah,
So it like really I like Hulu and I like Disney Plus because Disney Plus has like some of the Marvel TV shows I like. Like I liked the Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
yeah,
I liked or sorry, Captain America and Falcon. I liked Loki and I liked Obi-Wan and Andor. So, there's some good shit in there. Um I'm not crazy about like really the only thing I don't like with the Hulu bundle is ESPN because I only watch like two sports, and both of
yeah,
those I also get through Amazon through Prime. Like I can watch NBA and NFL. Like I can watch the Super Bowl through Prime or for free on the internet.
yeah.
So it's like
Yeah,
it's
I remember when like a lot of these sports, were just clinching onto the cable deals, but I noticed that they're moving on to streaming services. Like, yeah, I know YouTube is advertising the NFL ticket, $50 off if you get YouTube TV. So
well
that's
they're double dipping is what they're doing
yeah,
because there's also the cable deals because like I said there's still it's lower but you still have at least 50% of the population who's just going to watch shit on TV
yeah, yeah,
and that's a built-in audience and not everyone is going to get YouTube TV. Like I have YouTube Plus but not because I want YouTube Plus but because I used to have Google Plus and they migrated that shit over to YouTube TV and I'm like I don't like this.
yeah.
YouTube Music. Ugh.
Oh,
Trash.
YouTube Music is absolute garbage.
The only good thing about YouTube Music is that a lot of the library that was on Google Plus of like the obscure shit that you can't really find physical versions of, like comedy albums and stuff, you can still find there. So
Yeah,
sometimes if I like have to kill a lot of time or I'm at the airport or commuting and it's a long commute, I can just like look up like put in a comedy album and just listen to that shit for an hour and a half, which is nice.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, yeah. But
Google
back
likes to
to
kill.
Sony.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
Sony's been fucking up. I
yeah.
agree.
So like, people are not happy. Nobody's happy about this. I've heard people talking about canceling their subscriptions.
They're not
Uh,
going to do that.
I think people are
People
not going to
always
do
talk
that.
about this shall not stand, and gamers always just take it.
Yeah,
Gamers are like a dude who says if my girlfriend was fucking around on me, I'd leave her, and then they find out their girlfriend's fucking around on them, and they're just like, well,
I have too much invested in this
it
relationship.
wasn't that bad. She only did it once. There's never like basically every time you think gamers will be like, okay, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. They don't. Gamers have no fucking backbone
Yeah.
because they're addicts. They have to play their games.
Yeah.
All right, they have no sense of I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll be honest with you. I haven't aside from turning on my Switch to play Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't touched my Switch in years.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same
Haven't
thing.
turned it on.
Yeah.
Most of my games I play on PC. Part of it is because Nintendo's been doing a lot of anti-consumer shit, and I would rather wait for those games to go on PC than to
Yeah.
play them on the Switch. I don't want to give them my money.
Yeah.
And I'm still not. It's not 100% boycott, but I definitely have cut back on the amount of shit I buy in the Nintendo ecosystem.
Yeah.
I also don't like how some of the first party games run like ass on the Switch.
I also just don't like the fact that a lot of their classic games are locked behind a subscription.
Oh yeah, the Nintendo library is inferior to the Virtual Console that they
Yeah.
had on the previous two gens. Like the seventh gen and eighth gen handled backwards compatibility with Nintendo. Nintendo handled backwards compatibility much better than it does right now.
Yeah.
And when you say that to people, they're like, "Oh, don't do it. Don't say that." I'm like, "Come on, man. Who you bullshit?
Yeah.
You know good and hell well that this shit is unacceptable." And when you say that, they get angry. They're like, "Oh, don't say that."
And Sony had the nerves like, yeah, we're gonna have Saints Row, uh, Black Desert Online, and forgot another the other name of the game. Very much games not a lot of people care about. Um,
Well, I mean, they're
for
ultra
PlayStation
niche, but
Plus.
this is the same issue that hit Xbox with their games for gold. Like at a certain point, the shit that people want, they already have, and the shit that you can get is shit that people don't want, or at least it's so niche that it's like I have Saints Row, the new Saints Row reboot. That studio Volition got shut down, which is kind of sad. And we'll talk about that tomorrow on my cast, hopefully, knock on wood. Um, but yeah, like they did that shit, and
Yeah, but you're gonna raise your prices and not have like one heavy hitter first party game on your
no,
play like Ragnarok or
no.
Spider Man or something.
Okay. Let me take off my consumer advocacy hat and put on my business hat. Okay, let's say you're CEO of Sony. Why would you take your game that you can still sell for like $60, $70, if it's on sale maybe 55, okay, 50, and put it on PlayStation Plus?
Yeah, that's a good point. Plus, they're in a better they're in a quote unquote better position than Microsoft. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
when it
So let me
comes to
take off my business
consumer.
hat, put on my consumer hat. But yeah, as a consumer, if you're charging someone $160 a year for the premium year subscription to your service, and you're not including first party games in there, it diminishes the value proposition of doing that.
Yeah,
Like Microsoft does it, but Microsoft can afford to lose so much money on the Xbox division that it's just
it's
it's a moot point
disgusting.
for them. Like, oh
Yeah,
well, yeah. It's kind of like this, right? Um, like if you make six figures and you don't have a lot of debt on you, and let's say you live you live in an apartment where your rent is like ultra manageable, like maybe 1,500 a month, 2 grand a
Yeah.
month, but you're making 6, 7 grand a month. If your budget's under control, you have a lot of disposable income, so you can afford to take that hit.
Yeah.
Microsoft's like that, like, fuck it, whatever. It's like Sony is not like that. Sony is like 1 or 2 bad quarters from having to shutter studios.
Yeah.
And people always forget that. They're like, oh no, don't say that.
Yeah. That thing about thing about or Sony is that they one of the things they are having problems with is revenue for their online platform, and now that they've raised the prices, now they can fluff up those numbers um, a little bit more. At least it's I think I've, that's how I've heard it explained. But it's just I think Sony has they're starting to become significantly more arrogant because they are they're ahead of Microsoft at the moment. So they're like, oh, these suckers, these idiots are gonna buy it anyway. They're gonna keep subscribing anyway. Just raise the prices. We're Sony. We do no wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, at this point, I can't even get mad at Sony because they provide a service. They want to make more money out of it. I can't, like, I can only fault the people who are going to bitch and complain about it and still buy it. You know, it's like people bitch and complain. I remember, I sat in podcasts with people saying, yeah, if Nintendo starts charging for online, I'm not going to do it. And then these fuckers went and bought it.
And then they defended it too. They defended it
I
vehemently.
didn't. I didn't know. I was like, fuck that shit.
No, I'm talking about some of the people you're talking about. They defended it.
No, no, no. I'm talking. That's what I'm saying. They did that. I did not. I
Okay.
was like, I said, if they're gonna do this, then I'm not going to roll along with it because if I didn't accept it when Microsoft or Sony did it, like, and I know what some people say, but you have Game Pass, yeah, but guess what? I bought an Xbox Series X and it came with a year of Game Pass, and then
Yeah.
I got 2 new Xbox controllers, Xbox Series X controllers that came with a 6 month subscription to Game Pass. So I've got a whole year of Game Pass
Yeah.
that as soon as my year runs out, I can put it that I did not have to pay for. It's subsidized. I didn't go out of my way to buy that shit.
Yeah.
And the year of Nintendo Online I did have, I got that for free through Amazon Prime. And once it ran out, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop being irate.
And then there was yeah. Um, but there's supposedly there's rumor that there's going to be a state of play, and it's like I don't know why people have any hope. The fact that they might announce the new perks for their price increase. It's like if they
They are
did,
not gonna.
they would have already announced it. Like
Okay, let's.
why would you announce the price hike and like wait a couple weeks and we'll tell you the perks that you're gonna get? It's like you're not getting nothing.
Yeah, let's use some critical thinking here. Okay, what incentive does Sony have to add perks to the system when their consumer base is just going to take it? They're not going to try and demand more.
Nope.
They have no incentive.
Exactly.
It's like Nintendo fans. What incentive do they have to make their online better when Nintendo fans, the people who buy their online, will just take it anyway?
Yeah, they raised the game prices to 70 million or $70, and people still bought it. 10, 12 million copies sold. So it's like
There's no
people want to get
incentive.
yeah, it's like people people want to get all outraged about this stuff, but yet 150 million copies ends up getting sold. So it's just like, what are you guys doing? Are you guys
If you
mad or you're
accept
not?
it, yeah, if you accept it, you accept it. There's no like okay, if there had been an outrage and people like we're not going to do it and like mass like those games aren't selling, then they would have lowered their prices. But gamers, like I said, gamers like to talk a lot of shit, but when it comes time to do something, if you tell them, "Hey, you can't play this game for 3 months after it comes out. Just wait 3 months. Go play something else."
Yeah.
They won't do it.
No.
And here's the thing, right? I don't know about you, but I have a huge backlog of games. I don't need to play everything when it comes out.
Yeah, I don't need to. I don't need to get Starfield right now. I got other stuff keeping me occupied. Even certain stuff outside of gaming that
I did a quick
need to
run
do.
through what's it called? Baldur's Gate 3. Two playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3 between Starfield coming out.
Yeah.
And now Starfield's out, so now I'm like, shit, I'm not gonna be able to play Baldur's Gate for a while. Oh well, it was fun while it lasted. Sorry, Elithids. You're gonna take over the world, and I won't be able to stop you. And with mods, Starfield is going to be a long play game. I'll probably do a playthrough and then come back every few years, like I do with Skyrim
Yeah.
and Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah. Um. And other bad news. Saints Row is no more. Volition has been shut down. They went tits up. Um. And it's just eh, a lot of it is they didn't. I've heard people argue who were really into this franchise. They didn't really give people what they wanted. You know, they
Um,
at least
I
that's
would
what I've been hearing.
I would talk more about it, but I have some behind the scenes knowledge about what happened in that game, but I'm gonna save it for tomorrow. Suffice it to say, Volition is no more, and it's kind of sad. Uh, which I'll segue this into a slightly broader topic that's related to the same thing. Um, this is why game development is not very good because like the whole point is they're like okay so people are complaining this game was buggy and these people didn't a lot of the people like I think only like 20% of the people who were at Volition were of the old studio. The rest of it were new people. How the fuck are you supposed to get good at game development if every time you make a game that doesn't quite meet expectations the studio gets shuttered down or people get fired?
Yeah, that's too much. That is. Well, a problem with a lot of these studios. They 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 have these especially these studios that make more more so these studios that make big AAA budget games or even double A sometimes. It's like they put all their eggs in one basket. They need this
Yeah.
game to sell like a bajillion copies, and
Well, what happened with Embracer, the reason Embracer allegedly shut down uh,
Volition.
what's it called? Volition was because they were trying to get a merger or like a partnership with another big ass uh, like uh, co-op, like the Saudi Arabian Public Fund co-op,
Yeah, is
and that deal
Embracer?
fell through.
Yeah, I heard about that. They lost like $2 billion. This is
Well,
ridiculous.
they didn't lose $2 billion. The deal would have been worth $2 billion, and
Yeah,
they needed that funding to keep everything else running, and they didn't get it.
yeah,
So, like, you know,
I think is Embracer trying to be like Tencent? Is that their goal? Like
No, they're
they've
bigger than
been.
Tencent.
Oh, they're bigger than Tencent.
Embracer is bigger than Ubisoft.
Oh wow. Okay.
Embracer's here. Look, the name should tell you how big Embracer is. They're huge.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the problem with Embracer is that they bought a whole bunch of studios and they kept on doing acquisitions, and like getting money from other investors and other like stuff like that. And like instead of consolidating what they were buying and putting these studios into a way where they could start making profitable things, they just kept on buying other shit and getting more investments from other investors. So
Yeah.
rounds of investment from investors. So like that's unsustainable in business. Like for example, like let's say hypothetically speaking, I incorporated my business and I had shares, and instead of me actually coming up with new products to generate more revenue, I just kept on dividing up the shares and selling shares. At a certain point, it's unsustainable.
Yeah.
And taking that money, just buying other locations and putting them under my mantle and putting the name, oh, this is a Stacy's Barcade. This is a Stacy's Barcade, like franchising out. Like at a certain point, you have to actually produce a product that is generating revenue and making money. Like you can't just keep on, And there were a lot of flops under Embracer, you know, or games that just underperformed. That I'm like, I'm pretty sure that studio is going to get shut down.
Yeah.
Well before
Well.
Saints Row, the reboot.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, it's like,
Like Biomutant.
yeah. Wait, did Volition make that game?
No, but
Deep
Deep
Silver.
Silver published that game, but who owns
Oh,
Deep Silver?
oh, Embracer.
Embracer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like what's its name? What's the other one? The Borderlands people. They got bought. 2K uh got bought by Gearbox got bought by Embracer.
Embracer. Wow.
So it's like, and look, Gearbox had like 2 or 3 games they published that were underperformers. So, you know, it,
Wait, they Embracer owns 2K.
sorry, Gearbox.
Gearbox. Oh, okay. It's like, God
Yeah.
dang, these people just eat every. That's the problem. It's like they want to make these acquisitions, but they don't spend time to really foster these games and
Yeah, they're not
train
consolidating
their
their
developers. It's like,
Embracer group. Yeah, let's see here. What do they own? What do they own? Should be okay. Here's what they own. Okay, and this is all okay. THQ Nordic, which includes Alchemia Interactive Appeal, Ashbourne, Black Forest, Bugbear, Experiment 101, Gate 21, Grimlore, Gunfire, Handy Games, Massive Mini Team, Kaiko, Metric Minds, Mirage Game Studios, Nine Rocks Games, Pieces Interactive, Piranha Bytes, Powwow Entertainment, Purple Lamp, Rainbow Studios. Okay. Now they own PlayOn, Deep Silver, Dam Buster, Fish Labs, Free Radical, Development Plus, DigiArts, Flying Wild Hog Krakow, Flying Wild Hog Rezezau. Flying Wild Hog is the studio that remade all those uh all those Shadow Warrior games.
yeah,
Milestone, Play On Pictures, Anime Literates Limited, Sola Media, Spot Film Networks. I know they own like Gearbox. I know they bought Gearbox, but I'm gonna see if I could find their Coffee Stain, Saber Interactive, Deca, Gearbox Entertainment. They own Gearbox Entertainment, which includes Captured Dimensions, Cryptic Studios, Gearbox Publishing San Francisco, Gearbox Properties, Gearbox Software, which includes Montreal, Quebec, and Shanghai, Gearbox Studios themselves, and Lost Boys Interactive.
yeah. Oh wow.
They own Dark Horse Media, Free Mode, Crystal Dynamics, and Eidos Montreal.
wow.
They're huge. They're bigger than Ubisoft. Ubisoft is bigger than EA, which is bigger than Activision. They are the largest third-party publisher. But here's the thing: their revenue's been going up.
Yeah.
So there's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on here. Oh well. Um,
Yeah, that is strange.
yeah.
That is pretty strange.
Anyway, yeah. There's more to this story about Volition getting closed down, and it's sad all around because like there's some really good stuff in the reboot. And had the people at that studio having this game under their belt made a sequel, the sequel would have been fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But I'm, put a pin in that thought because there's some really good shit that some really good knowledge I can drop about that game tomorrow on my cast.
All right.
That's
all
a tease. That's a tease.
Right. So there was a Mario Wonder Direct last week, and I'm glad there's more.
Information.
Yeah, I'm glad Nintendo's doing something more creative with their 2D Mario games. I've heard people that have played it because it was at some events.
Nintendo Live.
Yeah, Nintendo Live, and heard it's pretty good. So
yeah, I mean it has some interesting things like badges that give you special abilities,
yeah,
which is kind of cool. I'm like, oh wow, you're actually doing something different. If only you had this level of creativity in your 3D Mario games.
yeah, but that that's pretty fun. Definitely gonna pick that up.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, but to be fair, has there ever been a really bad 2D Mario game? Like
no,
even their basic ones are pretty goddamn good.
yeah. Yeah, even their basic, ones are, they were definitely serviceable. I mean, you could play.
I mean, New Super Mario Brothers 2, the one with the gold flower. It's like, this is so cheap. This is so by the numbers, but it's still solid. It's a solid B- game. It's like
you can get through it. It's not terribly offensive. You're not terribly offended if
no, it was just very basic.
Yeah,
it was just very basic. It was like it felt like it felt like Super Mario Brothers, the first Super Mario Brother, the Super Mario Land game on the NES. I mean, on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Where that game just felt very kind of like, oh, this is just basic.
Oh yeah, Super Mario Land doesn't really hold up that well. I mean, Super Mario Land 2 is great. It's still pretty good, but
now see that's where I would disagree. The first one on the Game Boy, it's fine. It's not bad. You can still play it. It's a quick playthrough. It's designed to sit down, get through a level, keep it moving. You can beat it in 30 minutes. 20, 30 minutes. Let's say you're on a train ride, like a metro ride, a short metro ride. You can beat it quickly, but it's like it's basic. There's nothing mechanically wrong with the game. The levels are fine. I like the usage of different leveling themes than what you have on the console games. I wish when Mario Maker they had taken those tile sets and transported them to Mario Maker, but they couldn't be bothered. But it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh, this is basic.
Yeah.
You know, so, there's nothing wrong with basic. It's like sometimes all you want is some cornflakes and some milk. You don't want all that extra shit. Just cornflakes, milk, maybe some bananas chopped up and put in there, and that's it. You know, nothing like, oh, look at this. It's got all this accoutrement. No, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, New Super Mario Brothers 2, very basic Mario game. Really, I think the my favorite in the New Super Mario Brothers series was U, because that game is just so goddamn fun to play.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my opinion. Your thoughts?
Yeah. I thought the Wonder Flower, made it everything.
Yeah,
Makes things interesting. Kind of expands the level. I don't know. It just looks like they actually put a lot more creativity in this one than they have the other ones.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen Mario on mushrooms, and now we get to see Mario on poppy, aka heroin, aka
Exactly.
opium,
Yeah. Exactly.
with a splash of LSD. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Mario's high as fuck. He's tripping balls, y'all. He's tripping balls. Mario's high, bruh. Like everyone's like, no, Bowser took over the Flower Kingdom. No, he's just high. Look, Mario's just really high right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's high. Princess Peach is high. Princess Daisy's high. Luigi's high. Mario's high. The four easy mode characters are high. Everyone's high in this game. Everyone's tripping balls, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm not high. I'm just tired. Ah. No, Mario, you're high, bruh. You're high as a kite, man. You need some help. You need to go to rehab. I'm not drunk. I just need a little rest.
Anyway, move on to free topic. Got any free topic?
I got nothing.
Nothing. I was
I got
I,
nothing.
um I was thinking about this earlier in the cast. You know, the idea of microtransactions have been around for practically, for longer than you might think. Um, because I just remembered, this is years ago. This is back when I was in, let's say, middle school. So this is back in the early 2000s, early mid 2000s. I remember talking to a friend who was talking about, I think it was a family member or a family friend of his, um, that bought with real world money like a $500 gun for a game, or like a $500 weapon for a game. I remember at that time. Oh yeah, I remember at that time that how crazy that was. Crazy idea to buy digital items for with real world money like that. That was this is crazy. It's like, why would you spend that much money? And then you know here we are, people spending $5,000 for ships. And I'm just kind of like, God dang, it's not even real. You're spending that kind of money. Uh,
I
but
mean, I'm gonna say this, and some people might get mad, but I'm just gonna say it. Everyone likes to pretend like microtransactions. Oh, well, just video games. You do realize that when we played arcade games, and you put quarters in order to get more lives, those are microtransactions, right?
yeah, oh yeah, and the way that um, because the thing is, the way arcade cabinets were designed, it was designed such a way to make the game feel a little awkward, so it'd make it
Yeah,
harder, So you'd pay. So you'd put more money in the cabinet.
Well, also they up the difficulty curve. Like,
Yeah, that
remember
too.
how back in the day you'd play Street Fighter 2, and the first two enemies, the first two characters you fought would be kind of easy, and then it would go to like the harder characters, and then like you'd find enemies doing move sets where if you had to do that move, you'd have to go through the motions, and they were doing the shit instantly because the CPU cheated, so that you would basically lose, so that you would take your quarters and put them into the machine. All right,
Yeah, yeah,
this shit's been around a long ass time. Everyone likes to pretend like, oh, this is a trial of modern gaming. It's been like that for years.
yeah, yeah. It's just
Years.
yeah. It's just now on a whole different level. A
Yeah,
whole different
it's
level of greed.
you know, it's like when people say, well, the transatlantic triangle trade is what accelerated slavery, but slavery has always existed in humanity.
Yeah,
When you had tribes going and fighting other tribes and taking the women hostage and then raping them and forcing them into marriage, that's slavery.
yeah,
Okay, it's always been there. Now, of course, when you had the triangle trade, the transatlantic triangle trade, going from the Caribbean to Africa, Africa to the Caribbean, up north to Boston's and New York, and then across to England and back to Africa and all that shit. Yeah, that accelerated it, but it's always been there.
yeah, yeah.
So anyway, yeah, just had to add that. Just had to add that 2 cents. That's it. Got nothing else left.
Well, yeah. Um. Well, that's the end of the show. You want to give your sign off and call it a night?
Yeah. This is Mr. Red Fox, Unpriority BS Buster. Sorry getting started late here, but I was stuck in a mountain of unnecessary traffic, and you know, I couldn't run people down. Plus, there was a cop car right there because someone had a car accident, and I wasn't getting a ticket for the podcast. Even though I enjoy being on this podcast, I didn't want to get a ticket. That being said, tomorrow, BS Busters podcast. We're going to be talking about some really good shit, mostly Volition getting shut down, and a little secret as to why Saints Row the reboot was the way it was. Not necessarily for the reasons people may give you or might think. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, there's some background information that'll change how all that shit works. But I'm saving it for tomorrow. I'm not gonna just put it out now because I needed something for tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly. And this is Kenoshi about Manito here closing out another episode of Project Console. I'll see you next week. Around usual time next week. Hopefully, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Um, have a nice weekend, everybody. See you later.